Beautiful day today. These wheels should be quite a bit lighter and better. Way better road feel. Those winter tires, they ride really rough on the bumps. Inspire confidence at high speed as much as my nice summer tires do. Summer tires have better gearing too. I got these aluminum wheels used for cheap on eBay, 40 bucks each. And they're sweet, lightweight aluminum 15-inch wheels. So here we have 15-inch aluminum alloy. So here's the stock 16-inch steel wheel that came with the car versus the 15-inch alloys I bought. You can see the tire overall wheel size is actually quite a bit different. These this wheel is a 1/2 inch wider. This one, I forget the measurements. I think this one's like 6.5 or something. Anyway, I can't see in the sun right now, but anyway. This whole tire and wheel combination is significantly lighter weight than this. Like, this is heavy, this is light, and you can really feel the difference driving. And these are some really high performance, high speed rated Exta LX Platinum. Got a really nice, smooth, kind of like a racing slick, just with not a lot of cuts in it. Compared to this winter tire. And winter's not over yet, but it's starting to get warmer outside, and snow doesn't really bother me as much as the ice. Summer tires on snow isn't that bad, it's fine for me. Summer tires on ice, that really sucks. And I don't think we're gonna have much more ice this year, hopefully. And these summer tires, they ride a lot smoother because they have a little more sidewall to them. Winter tires have a little less sidewall, and the roads got really bumpy this winter. Some roads got really heaved up by the frost heaves, and it's torture driving over them with those winter tires. Really, they're a lot bumpier over the bumps. Also, these summer wheels make the car a little bit lower too, which is pretty nice, pretty sweet. I admit the 16 inches do fill up the wheel wells better and look a little bit better filling up the wheel wells, and they're more flush with the car. But these make it lower and faster and drive way nicer. I was thinking about getting some other used aluminum Toyota wheels, because they're like, Toyota has factory aluminum alloys all the way up to like 17, 18 inches. I could get like ridiculous. I could literally fill my entire wheel well with a 17 or an 18 inch. like fairly inexpensively used off of eBay, some used Toyota stock wheels. Oh, my video camera's still videoing. I need to get some center caps. You gotta remember to retorque aluminum wheels after about 50 miles as well, because they do loosen up a little bit. So if I remember correctly, these steel wheels are 22.5 pounds. And the alloys are 18 pounds. There you go, that's a good view, eh? Whoa. All right. So, I'll show you guys a couple things here. Here is the factory muffler from the Toyota Matrix. Yep. That's that. And what do we got here? There's some of the power steering pieces from the A6 that I replaced. Power steering rack. And the A6 is over in the Audi graveyard over here. Got the A4, the seized engine. We've got the A6. I'm so upset with myself. That was the most beautiful car inside, the most nicest car to drive, and I ruined it, but I haven't told that story yet. It's got a knock now, or a tick, a bad tick or a knock. Sounds like in if you're standing in front of the engine bay, it sounds like the right head. But it's unfortunate because I worked so hard to get it fixed up and running again, and it was running so good before the power steering started leaking. It was such a battle to replace that power steering rack, and I finally did it. And then I basically ruined the car because it sat so long with old gas and old oil in it that when I was driving it, it got starved for oil and it started knocking. It really sucks. If I had just changed the oil and gas before I tried to drive it. I've never had that happen before, because even though the oil was old and sludged up, it had oil in it. It was full of oil. But when I was driving it, the light came on a few different times. The no oil light. So that really sucks. I'm really pissed about that. I really liked that car. And it was all-wheel drive. I would have had an all-wheel drive car for the winter. But anyway, we've got to clean up the garage so I can find the headers for the Matrix. So I found them. Why is this so zoomed in? They were in the old shed. I'm pretty excited, guys. I got these, I believe, for $50 off of eBay. Man, a long time ago, like 6 years ago or something now, when I used to have a Corolla. And it just so happens that this car has the same engine as the Corolla I had. So, hopefully these bad boys will bolt right up. And I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to do it right now because I just changed all the wheels, which I already shouldn't have done because my ankle really hurts to walk on. I've been on crutches and stuff, so I don't want to push it. But yeah, that's pretty sweet. Pretty happy about that. I think what I want to do is go to the junkyard and get a spare stock Matrix exhaust, so I don't have to worry about messing this one up if I make a mistake. And then I can have like a whole stock system and then the whole aftermarket system that I can swap back and forth, which would be handy to have. So yeah, that's the plan. We'll remove the last air filter. So I did some research. It was kind of tough to find out. I might have talked about this a little bit before, but this car, when it was stock, had 2 air filters in it. I'll show you. So, oh yeah, also I've got my air box unclipped right here, so you can get air in that way, and I can really feel the difference above like 3,000 RPM. It really wakes it up in the higher RPMs, because where the air wants to go, if you clip it in, is down into this little tube that goes all the way down, around, and then comes back up over here, and it's like a 1-inch wide tube. It's a little bit ridiculous. Like, I mean, seriously, like, it's like the size of my thumb. So that's pretty restrictive. But anyway, so under here, there was a normal, like, paper air filter down in here, and I took that out because it has a second filter up here. And if you look closely, it's riveted in with plastic rivets, so it's not removable unless you drilled it out. And if you take off this pipe here and look into this hole, you can see that the filter actually comes up pretty far. It's almost like 3 or 4 inches thick in some places, and it must be extremely restrictive. So I want to drill that. So once I get the headers put on back here and the cat removed, and then this drilled out and removed, the whole system will be totally unrestricted then, and it should be should go really nice at that point. So I'm pretty excited about that. But anyway, what I found out, the reason this has this big second filter up here, this is a carbon filter. This is what I read. It's for emissions. It's for carbon, it's like activated charcoal or whatever filter for gas fumes, because the PCV system here that recirculates the crankcase is connected to the intake here, and apparently, I mean, this seems kind of crazy to me, but what I read is that the entire purpose of this is so that after you shut your engine off, the little bit of crankcase vapors that are left in there that aren't going to be sucked into the engine anymore because it's off now are going to start evaporating up through the intake. And this filter is so that those gas and oil fumes don't evaporate into the atmosphere after you shut your engine off. Now, to me, that's like a huge restriction for like the smallest amount of like emissions pollution. You know, that's like not how much gas and oil evaporates out of your engine through the intake after you shut your engine off. Not much, like probably almost nothing. Like, that's pretty ridiculous. And to have like a 4-inch thick filter, like heavily restrictive, just so that you get like this tiny little bit of emissions cleaned. It seems like a really bad ratio to me. So anyway, that's the plans. And check the oil because, okay, we're good. Because I lost the washer for the oil pan bolt. If you guys saw the oil change video, I lost the washer, fell out into the pan, and I fished it out with my fingers, and then I lost it again. So now there's no washer. But yeah, so that's the plans, and I'll see you guys next time. Actually, I do have another plan, because part of the reason my ankle's been hurting to walk on is because, well, it was injured in the past, but this clutch aggravates it, because it's like, for some reason, it's a really heavy clutch, and it's really small. It's like a pressure point. It really digs into your foot. So I was thinking about welding a bigger plate on there, or figuring out a way to extend it and get more leverage or something to keep my foot from, like, honestly, I can't walk on my ankle right now because, and I knew this was going to happen when I bought the car. The first time I drove it, I was like, oh man, that hurts my rolled ankle to use this clutch. But it only hurt it a little bit, and I was like, oh, it'll be all right for now. But, you know, at some point I realized it was going to catch up with me, and it's been over a year, and it's finally gotten to the point where it's actually very painful to use the clutch with my left foot. I've been driving with my right foot for like a week and a half now, and it's not fun. So maybe next weekend, see if we can get this rubber thing off, and I think we can just extend it to get more leverage. And if worse comes to worse, we can just hammer down the body right here, the sheet metal, because if you make this too long, it'll run into the floor before you can throw it enough. So I think just a little bit massaging with a hammer, possibly sledgehammer, and maybe weld on to extend it longer and to also make it larger, because it's so small it just digs into your foot. And it's such a heavy throw for a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It's like, I don't know why, it's one of the heaviest clutches I've used, honestly. So anyway, see you guys next time. So I just drove about 20 miles, and we're just going to check the lug nuts before we jump on the highway here, because they always loosen up. Well, they really didn't loosen up very much, but they did loosen up a little bit. There was one or two that, there's a few that had loosened up a decent amount. But probably would have been fine to keep going, but I've had wheels come off before. And aluminum wheels in particular, for some reason, compared to steel wheels, they require a retorque. After you drive a little while, they do loosen up a little bit. So, just gonna do that. If your car ever starts wobbling, or like any kind of vibration, or like noise, you should really pull over as soon as you can, and just check your lug nuts. Especially if you work on your car yourself. I mean, most shops, they put them on with the impact gun and they don't use the torque stick, and they get them tight as shit on there. So usually you don't have to worry if it's from a shop, but if you put them on yourself, they can come loose.